and welcome to Daybreak Live on this beautiful Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. We're coming to you live on Dominion Television, bringing you everything you need to start your day informed, inspired, and ahead of the curve. Hello and welcome. I am Yemi Adelakun.
Good morning. I am Pat Aito, and it's always a pleasure to be here with you from the latest news to stories that truly matters. We got you a packed and powerful lineup for you this morning, so grab your tea, settle in, and let's get started.
Exactly. First up, let's take a quick sweep through the top stories making headlines across Nigeria and beyond this morning. From policy updates to event unfolding overnight, it's all in Daybreak News.
So we are tracking development from the federal government, update from the ECOWAS summit, and a new agricultural partnership making waves in northern Nigeria, plus fuel price updates that may affect commuters today, all coming up shortly.
Next, we'll go beyond the bold prints in our newspaper headlines and analysis segment. We'll be diving into the stories behind the front pages, what's hype, what's substance, and what you really need to know.
Today's dailies are full of political maneuverings, economic forecast, and one trending editorial on digital education reform. We will bring context, clarity, and as always, your voices too, so keep the messages coming.
And now to our big story of the day, and it's one we can't afford to ignore. The continued killings in Nigeria's north-central region are shaking communities and raise urgent questions about a national security approach.
That's right, from farmer herders clashes to banditry and communal violence. What strategies are in place to stem the bloodshed, and more importantly, are they working? Joining
us shortly is a seasoned security expert, Dr. Kule Okunla, who brings over 2 decades of experience in counter-insurgency and peace-building effort across West Africa. We'll be asking him the tough questions: what's failing, what's working, and what must change now.
So if you live in the North Central or anywhere impacted by insecurity, this conversation is for you. Dr. Okunla will help us break it all down with practical insights and possible solutions.
We'll also have updates from the world of sport, from the Super Eagles World Cup qualifiers to Wimbledon prep and the latest transfers in the international football scene.
And yes, if you missed last night's big game, don't worry. Our sports desk will catch you up on the scores, highlight, and standout moments.
And as always, we'll wrap up with Trend Watch, your guide towards buzzing online. From viral videos to major social commentary, we'll break down what's trending and why it matters.
So, whether you're getting ready for work, heading out, or tuning in from across the globe, we are glad to have you with us this morning.
We are just getting started. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we head straight into the Daybreak News. This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. We'll be right back. Do not forget to join us on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media pages: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Dominion Broadcast, and X at Dominion Cast. Thank you for staying with us this morning. All right, we welcome you back. It is still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. And this morning we want to talk about something This story says a 10-year-old boy accidentally kills police inspector father in Anambra. A 10-year-old boy has accidentally shot and killed his father, a police inspector identified as Okoli Amici, with the officer's service AK-47 rifle. Did you see that story?
Well, I saw that story. First of all, good morning, Emmy.
Good morning,
How are you
Pat.
doing this morning?
I'm very well.
Well, I think it's cloudy out there, so if you're going out this morning, you need to take your umbrella, or perhaps you stay back if actually you really don't have much to do this morning.
Okay.
But away from that, just this morning, a 10-year-old boy killed his father, a police inspector. That story is disheartening, and of course, it's figment my imagination of what could have transpired. I mean, maybe the boy was under his father's training before that incident happened, because I could not even see any altercation that could have happened between the 10-year-old boy and his father, leading to that sudden death of his or sudden death of his father, or perhaps that incident that happened in Anambra. And of course, when I listen or when I read the story, it's worrisome. I mean, when a police officer would want to train, I am seeing it from the angle of maybe the father is actually training the boy to be brave, to be a brave man in the future, and how to handle a gun. But then it's called for how we handle our firearms, especially the officers in question here, or the officer in question here, may so rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
And I just feel like it's uncalled for. This is not the time for you. Even if you want to train a boy, and not that kind of age bracket. I mean, looking at 10-year-old boy, you're training him how to handle the firearms. What for?
Honestly, I feel it's a sad story. However, I wouldn't know the kind of system that is available in the house. I mean, that gave the young boy the access to the gun. And then, I don't know, I just feel like maybe he must have seen some movies, or maybe he must have seen his father handle the gun before, and then he just thought to try. One thing I know about kids is that they always want to do what adults do. There was a clip I saw online about a few months ago, and then I think it was in the UK or US. This teacher wanted to take the kids out for sightseeing. She had to chain all of them together. Why? Because she doesn't want to run into problems. So it tells us that kids actually, you have to undo them very well. They want to do the things that they see adults do, and then if the atmosphere is conducive, they will definitely do those things. So it's so sad. And the one thing that is actually, bothering me is the fact that this kid will have to live with the fact that he killed his own father.
And I think there were two. And
yes,
the other one is injured. The other one is
injured
and actually is receiving treatment from the hospital. And of course, they say it underscores the urgent need for stricter gun safety protocol, especially within households where firearms are present. So we commiserate with the family of the victims, and of course, I know investigation. The police officer are actually into investigating what led to that, and while the gun is with the young boy.
I think the boy is going to need a lot of therapy sessions. Exactly.
He needs to be taken to a rehabilitation centers.
And then even in schools, I don't know, I just hope his friends will not talk about it and they just make him, to start, feeling somehow.
There will be stigmatization.
Exactly.
Unless the boy leaves that environment.
Totally. All right, we do hope that this will, serve as a lesson to, the people in general, so that we are careful with kids.
Parents especially.
Exactly, when it comes to issues like this. All right, thank you for being a part of the segment. It's time to move on to the news desk to take Daybreak News. Pat Aito is breaking. We'll be right back.
very good morning to you. Welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I am Pat Aito. The Benue State government has declared Wednesday, June 18th, a public holiday to mark the official visit of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the state. In a statement signed by the Secretary to the state's government, Solomon Debre, the president is expected in the state on a one-day condolence visit to commiserate with the government and people of Benue over the recent spate of violent attacks that have led to numerous deaths. The government stated that the holiday is intended to give citizens the opportunity to receive the president warmly, but clarified that the directive excludes workers in essential services, including medical personnel, security agencies, and banking institutions. The Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly, Ahonduna Daujo, has ordered the immediate release of all youths arrested during recent protests across the state. The directive was issued during an emergency plenary session convened in response to mounting public criticism over the detention of citizens who participated in demonstrations against the ongoing insecurity in parts of the state. Speaking on the floor of the Assembly, Daujo reaffirmed the legislature's commitment to democratic principles and the constitutional rights of Benue citizens. Former Labour Party LP presidential candidate Peter Obi has responded to President Bola Tinubu's planned visit to Benue State following the brutal killings of over 200 people last weekend. Reacting via a post on X, Obi thanked the president for the move and urged him to extend similar concern to Niger State, where recent flooding has claimed numerous lives. Speaking during the commissioning of the Greater Abuja Water Supply Network, President Tinubu expressed condolences to the government and people of Benue State. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission FCCPC has reiterated to sustain its effort to cleanse Nigerian markets of all sharp and illegal practices. FCCPC Executive Vice Chairman Tunji Bello made the vow during a market engagement forum held in Abuja. Bello further mentioned that the mandate of the Commission is mainly to promote fair competition, protect consumers, and ensure transparent, lawful and responsible business conduct in all markets across the country. The federal government has restated its commitment to maintaining a free, responsible and vibrant press, highlighting the media's essential role in deepening democracy and promoting national development. Speaking at the public presentation of Nigeria Media Renaissance Perspectives on online publishing in Abuja, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, commended the Guild of Corporate Online Publishers for its effort in promoting ethical standards and innovation within the digital media landscape. Idris said the administration of President Bola Tinubu is determined to uphold press freedom in line with the core values of journalism, truth, fairness and accountability. Katsina State government has said it did not enter into any negotiation with terrorists after the widely circulated peace deal. Speaking to newsmen, the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Nasir Muazu, said the Governor Dikko Rada administration remains firm in its resolve to secure lives and properties. According to him, Katsina State Governor Malam Dikko Rada made promises that security is going to be a top priority, and he has effectively demonstrated that resolve, and he promises that he is going to deal with the issue of insecurity in its fold. And in business, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, an agency of the federal government, has disbursed 8.6 billion as arrears of the 32,000 naira pension increment approved by President Bola Tinubu in 2024, according to a press statement released and signed by PTAD's head of corporate communications, Olugbenga Ajayi. The latest installment covers 148,000 eligible pensioners under the defined benefit scheme. These include retirees from the civil service, police, parastatals, and customs, immigration and prison, now correctional service pension department. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And that's as the Daybreak News. I am Pat Aito. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning. Right, welcome to the headlines from the dailies this morning on Daybreak Live, the Wednesday edition of the program. I am Pat Aito on Dominion Television here in Ibadan. So how are you doing this morning? Sure you're doing fine. Well, let's head straight to what the papers are saying. But remember that you can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to listen to us and interact with us. And of course, you can follow us across all our social media platforms. We're talking about Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. So welcome. Let's head straight to the dailies. Now the Nigerian Tribune has this: Mokwa floods, 700 persons still missing. That's coming from the Niger State government, and it's sad in one. That's on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Yes, saying that 700 persons still missing, and do not forget that a lot of people have been devastated and evacuated from their homes by the flood there. And we have this one from Rivers, where Senate screens Electoral Commission nominees and faults inclusion of non-indigenes by sole administrator. A lot is happening in Rivers State, and of course you read more on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And we have this one concerning insecurity happening in Nigeria. We are tired of mourning, Senate declares, with the riders delegation to accompany Tinubu to Benue, and government declares work-free day. I mean, that's today because of Mr. President visiting Benue on a condolence visit. Actually, away from the Nigerian Tribune, we have this from the This Day. Senate leadership joins presidential trip to Benue, says it is tired of killings. And we have this rider. SGF assures people of Yawata of federal government support. Obi thanks President for visiting state. Why are you thanking Mr. President? It is in his purview to visit any troubled state in the country. So you thanking him shows that you're actually, to my own personal view, like you're actually calling for you're calling for a recognition from Mr. President. You don't need it. That state has been in trouble for years, and of course the one that happened last Friday, over 200 people being killed in Benue State, is actually something that Mr. President should have gone there long before now. But then, away from that, from This Day, we have Tinubu, INEC backbone of our democratic journey, role key to public trust in government. And with the riders, says its commitment to strengthen the electoral system unshaken. And another rider there, Commission rejects Damagun's notification for June 30 PDP NEC meeting, says not compliant. Non-compliant, not compliant. Those that's coming from the Damagun non-compliance people. I mean, Commission rejects Damagun's notification for June 30. There's the National Working Committee actually looking for a way where they can come together and form a formidable opposition party to just do what up for the 2027 elections. Will this work? Let's see how it unfolds. From This Day as well, we have National Assembly transmits landmark tax reform bills to Mr. President, and that's on page 43 of This Day. We have this one from the economic side of the This Day newspaper. We have CBN affirms strength of Nigeria banking sector, issues routine guardians for banks under forbearance, and with the rider, banks shares dipped further. You want to read? Get a copy of This Day, and of course it's on page 9 of the paper. I mean, This Day. Away from that, let's head straight to Business Day. You know, the old Business Day always talk about economy. So we have decades-old Naira devaluation fails to spark export boom. Decades-old Naira devaluation fails to spark export boom. That's the Business Day. You remember that we always devalue our Naira just for us to have a vibrant and robust economy, but now we're having it that decades-old Naira devaluation fails to spark export boom. We're actually saying it in papers, and this has not really impact and it has not really affect Nigerians positively. And You keep on asking what the government is doing. Well, away from that business day, let's head straight to New Telegraph. New Telegraph coming with us politics here. 2027, Tinubu at crossroads over Shatima, under pressure to drop vice president. And with the rider, Rebadu, Barao, Yari, Dogara on the cards. Another rider, reports of NSA's endorsement entirely misleading. Adamawa APC talking there, and we have Northeast APC protest political karma, says LP. And you can read more on page 2 and 4 of the New Telegraph. Well, last week I saw something concerning this, and that has to do with APC. I'm not actually sure of maybe Nasser or Adamawa, where there was a Congress called, and they said, oh, there's this, they endorsed Tinubu. But at some point, some people were asking, what about the vice president? And there were rancor. Before you know it, Alhaji Ganduje came to say, oh, yes, the same ticket for Tinubu also speak for the vice president. But coming here to say this, that 2027, Tinubu at crossroads over Shatima, under pressure to drop the vice president. And with so much riders, we have Ribadu, Barao, Yari, and Dogara on the cards to become the vice president, or what? And we have reports of NSA's endorsement entirely misleading. Adamawa APC, the other one talking there, and the last rider there saying Northeast APC protests political karma, says LP. We're still on New Telegraph. We have so many, and we have those disaster one here. Massacre. Time to act is now. Usman Dan Fodio's jihad did not conquer Benue, MBF. As talking there, it comes with lots of riders that are not clear, but you want to read, you can read more on pages 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the New Telegraph. Away from that, we have this one from the New Telegraph as well. The former president of the country is talking that Obasanjo, Olusegun Obasanjo, is saying, I'm gradually going to the departure lounge, Obasanjo says. Oh, that's it means something. That's, well, to me it's another meaning. To you it might be another meaning, but what it meant to me at this minute, or what I feel it means at this minute, it's something I really don't want to say on the program. But then everybody with his or her own opinion. Away from that, beside it, we have NAS Transit Tax Reform Bills to Tinubu, and that's on page 2 of the New Telegraph. And we have this, the politics part of it, that's the economic side. And we have this politics, INEC rejects PDP, NEC meeting, notice over secretary's signature. That's on page 4 of the New Telegraph. You remember Damagun and Nwayawo, the two of them are still fighting like, yeah, I'm the secretary of the PDP, national secretary of the PDP, and this one said no, this one said yes. So let's see how it unfolds. And we have this one too from the economy side of the story here. We have CBN's policy directive triggers shocks as talks shared over 288 billion naira. Page 4 and 5, you can read more. And IFC facilitated $5 billion investment into Nigeria in 2024. All that, there are lots of stories, headlines there on from the New Telegraph. I mean, you can pick New Telegraph to read more on that. Away from that, we head straight to the Blueprint. And Blueprint is still talking about Benue attack. I mean, the attack that happened in Benue. Benue attacks. Alia rejects self-defense. Sule donates 150 million naira. That's the problem. When issues happen, That's when you see them they come up with lots of donations. What you should have done earlier. If you have donated a lot of this, all of this money to a Benue State government, it will have been used for something. I mean, something as regards the insecurity that is happening there. But now, the deed has been done, and you're donating 150 million naira. Well, we'll say thank you, we appreciate it, but he's not actually coming at the right time. Well, away from that, we are for long. INEC suffered accommodation challenges. Yakubu is talking that's the INEC chairman, is talking that for long. INEC suffered accommodation challenge. That's you can read more on Blueprint newspaper. And coming from this as well, Nigeria needs $110 billion annually to fix infrastructure gap. AFDB is talking there. And that's all you can find from the Blueprint newspaper. Away from that, we head straight to The Guardian. And The Guardian is coming with this headline: property owners shun see of old title registries over bureaucracy and graft. That's on page 6 of The Guardian. And away from that, we'll head down below. We have this: Senate city has expressed frustration over Benue killings amid push for community policing. That's on page 6 of The Guardian. You remember, people have been calling for state policing. I hope this is not the time President would assent to that bill. Well, we have Yawata. Benue Assembly wants self-defense, anti-open grazing law. That has been effective since the regime of Samuel Otom. I guess Samuel Otom, yes, that has been effective. That's anti-open grazing law has been there. And we are having this security issue. Well, away from that, we have federal government ties credit scores to NIN in major reform plans. And that's on page 4 of The Guardian as well. Then we have EU commits 110 million pounds to pounds to peace security projects in ECOWAS. All that you can find on we can find on The Guardian newspaper this morning. Away from The Guardian newspaper, head straight to leadership. Well, leadership didn't really have much, but then it's talking about 2025 Democracy Day. Tompolo's grassroots door-to-door movement holds special media engagement in Abuja. Well, that's Tompolo and others doing that. I mean, door-to-door movement holds special media engagement in Abuja. Well, that's all we can take on the headlines from the dailies this morning. When we'll come back, it's about time for us to analyze with our analysts in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us on the program Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. We'll be right back after this time out. All right, welcome back. It's still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television here in Ibadan. Of course, we need to just dive into the analysis this morning. I'm being joined by Oluyemi Adelako. Oluyemi Adelako, good morning once again.
Good morning, Pat.
My co-host, though, don't mind. So let's see. It's not funny. I mean, it's not funny. Looking at the issue that happened in Benue overnight, I read through the ordeal of some people in that area. I learned one was trying to explain what happened, that they have always been at night. I mean, watch for something like that, because they do send them letters ahead, like, oh, we are actually coming to social community. So oftentimes they don't sleep. They all stay out at nights, do one games or the other. But this particular night, I mean Friday night, was different in the was different in the sense that there was heavy downpour, and that led to the numerous attack. And one said he lost his mother, father, and I mean 10 people from the family. It's exactly. But then I from the blueprint, I saw a headline where Benue attacks, Aliyah rejects self-defense, solely donates 150 million naira. And I'm actually looking at what for? Is that a time to do that?
Okay, I think you have a point and you're spot on. Let me take it from the self-defense thing, because before now quite a number of popular politicians have come out to say that at this point in time it's looking like people can actually resort to self-defense. However, if we talk about that, before you can get access to a gun in Nigeria, you have to go through some processes. I mean, you can't just get it overnight. Not even a locally made one. Exactly. And then for these bandits and terrorists, as the case may be, I mean, they enjoy we don't even know where they get these firearms from. Exactly. And then they come with it. As a matter of fact, they are so confident to the point that they will inform these people they are coming, and then they will show up, attack these people, murder people. And the pictures are everywhere. Even the man that was even sharing his own part of the story was saying that he heard the people. He had some of them talking, and he could not identify them in person, but actually identify that they are some other people that have been clamoring that they are the one killing them. That they are herders, that he heard them talk. So when this kind of information is actually outside, people can actually, pinpoint, some of these activities and people. So why is it difficult to actually tame this whole insecurity? Because this all you have to fight for yourself, I don't think that can actually work. Maybe that will be tamed. Maybe that will be tamed today, because the president is going there just on a condolence visit, and let's see what comes out of it. We have the security, we have the IGP around, then General Christopher Musa is there. That's from the Nigerian army. All of them, the security agencies are there. Let's try to see if Mr. President visiting there would need that incident. I mean, that's insecurity in that part of the state, in that part of the, that community in board. Or after Mr. President visits, or visitation of Mr. President to that place, would that killing still continue? I mean, you spoke about 150 million naira. I think it's not about throwing money around. Can we identify the issues and then work on those issues? Because we can keep throwing money around and then we still will not see results. You don't know what is even my pain there is, okay, this man has been coming. I mean, the governor has been coming to say that I have issues here. Why don't you just send the money to him? Okay, how do you think this money can solve this problem? Not when this issue has happened. I mean, just like what you're saying, I feel like it's more about, trying to get information. Because I saw an headline about a few days ago that some insiders actually work with these bandits. So if these people can go to that length, of course, you always have informants with people, why can't the security, personnel also look for a way to actually get this information? Let them be at par. If these people are going all the way to actually get information, let the security personnel also find the way to actually get this information. Well, we actually pray that
the visitation of Mr. President will actually solve the problem. We bring hopeful. A long-lasting solution to.
We're hopeful. We are hopeful because a lot has actually happened. Just like you said, entire families wiped out. I mean, people have become IDPs
traumatic.
In their own state, in their own country. About 21 IDP camps in Benue State. I mean, that's Benue. We have Plateau, we have other places, we have Kwara, we have Kogi. We need to begin to look at some of these issues and how we can actually combat them.
Well, there's a big one here, crossroads for Mr. Tinubu.
Okay.
Concerning picking his vice president. I said 2027, Tinubu at crossroads over Shettima under pressure to drop VP. And riders, we have Barao, Ribadu, Yari, Dogara on the cards. And Adamawa APC is coming to say, reports of the NSA's endorsement entirely misleading. And Northeast APC protests political karma, says LP.
Okay, I think there's a lot of pressure on ground already. I mean, it is still...
Pressure from?
I mean, from political parties, I mean, from stakeholders, even from the masses. A lot of people want to know what is going to happen come 2027. And speaking on this, I think there was a video, on Sunday about a meeting that was held in Gombe State, I mean, in the Northeast. And then, Zulum actually said that there is no vote for APC in 2027 if Shettima is not in the equation. Because I don't know, I feel like maybe there are some discussions that have been going on that the president might actually drop Shettima come 2027. But do not forget that Shettima has a stronghold in the northern part of the state. And if you look at the video very well, if you watch the video very well, you can see that they had to rescue the likes of Ganduje out of the scene. Because, I mean, the people were so intentional about the fact that we don't want this. In case you are planning this, we don't want this. We want Shettima to be in the picture.
Maybe that's the video I saw too, because there was this rancor. There was this Congress. I'm not too sure of the states now where we have Ganduje, we have Babagana Zulum and the likes there, where they said, yes, 2027 come, president have our tickets. But the person said, what about the vice? The man was shouting, what about the vice?
Most of them did not actually speak about Shettima.
They did not.
And then do not also forget that during the last election, a lot of persons were against the Muslim ticket. And so we can only speculate. We actually do not know the mind of the president.
Even if you are even if we are speculating now from the riders here, we have Ribadu, Barao, Yari, Dogara. They still Muslim ticket. If he wants to change as vice president,
but don't forget, this is politics. Anything can change within 24 hours. That's why I said we can only speculate. I've seen a lot of things. I mean, in the political landscape of Nigeria. Do not believe anything until it happens, because I've seen people, or let me say politicians, that said that they cannot leave this party no matter what happens, and at the end of the day they left. So we cannot really say anything can happen.
Okay, we should just keep our fingers crossed concerning that. Exactly. All right, thank you so much for doing this. We'll made on the program Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Of course, we've tried to analyze what the papers are saying, or picked from the New Telegraph, and of course from the Blue Print. And this is the convenient time to say join us again tomorrow for another fresh episode of the headlines and newspaper analysis. We'll be back after this timeout.
All right, good morning once again. Thank you for staying with us on Daybreak Live. This is Big Story. This morning we are looking at security approach to the killings in North Central. The North Central region of Nigeria has been plagued by persistent violence and insecurity, primarily attributed to a combination of banditry, clashes between herders and farmers, and various extremist activities. This ongoing crisis has resulted in the tragic loss of countless lives and has instilled a pervasive atmosphere of fear among communities. About 21 IDP camps in Benue State, citizens have become IDPs in their own country. People came out en masse to protest. Their faces wrote pages without pen. Strangers have taken over their lands. Citizens stood on the dead bodies of their fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, and children. These attacks are too calculated to be tagged random killings. The multifaceted nature of these security challenges requires a coordinated and adaptive response that goes beyond mere force. Benue is begging for attention. Plateau is begging for attention. Kogi is also begging for attention to effectively address the root cause of this violence. It is crucial to explore a comprehensive security approach that incorporates community engagement, economic development, and effective law enforcement. We need to examine the loopholes that have made the ground so fertile for incessant killings, how to combat these issues and provide lasting solutions. Joining me this morning to speak on this issue of insecurity in the North Central is Dr. Kunle Okola, a security expert with over 2 decades of experience in counterinsurgency and peace-building effort across West Africa. I also have with me analyst Oluwole Oluwaseun, a public affairs analyst, and together we shall do this. Thank you once again for joining us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Okola. Nice to have you on board.
Good morning. Good morning. Top of the day to you all.
Thank you. And good morning, Mr. Oluwaseun.
Good morning.
Nice to have you this morning.
Thanks.
All right, speaking on this issue going on in the North Central, just like I did some explanations there, I want us to look at, can you help us understand the root causes of these persistent killings in the North Central region? Just like I spoke about the issue in Benue, in Plateau, in Kogi. I mean, people have become IDPs in their camps. They stand on the bodies of their families, and then if you look at their faces, you can tell they are grieving so much. Can you help us identify the root causes of some of this issue, Dr. Okola?
Thank you so very much. And in the first place, I want to send my condolences to the people of Benue State,
okay,
and Plateau State in recent time, together with Kaduna, gruesome killing of about 200 individuals. I saw the video, I couldn't hold back my tears. Children, mothers, pregnant women, young, vibrant men were gruesomely burned, to ashes. Some of them were identified with their head alone, and it's so pathetic. You see children standing on the corpse of their parents, and you wonder what the future is like. It's going to be like for those children. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. And when I heard this morning that the governor of Benue State, who everybody is describing as being naive, is urging the people of his state to come out in colorful attire to welcome the president. I was like, what is going on in this nation? What is happening here? In some other nation, if only one person died, the whole nation comes to a standstill. It's not coming to inaugurate anything or to commission anything. It's coming to commiserate with the people. All right? And you are asking your people to come out, in colorful Benue attire, to welcome the president. That to me is it's adding salt upon injury. I think his people should call him to order. And I think if he does not know what to do, because he's coming too often, in Benue State, the killings, if he doesn't know what to do as the chief security officer of the state, then he should resign and let another person take over. Now, coming to your question, okay, what are the root causes? The North Central of Nigeria comprises basically of Benue State, Plateau State, and Kaduna State, and that is the grip of this nation. That's the grip. That's like the backbone. The Benue State, is the food basket of the nation. All right. I served in Benue State in the 80s, and I stayed there because of the serene atmosphere of the state, you know, for some time before coming down to down here and before leaving for the UK. I could imagine, you know, what changes have taken place between 80s and now. Plateau State used to be a place where even foreigners, because of the climatic situation, you know, wants to visit. Every Nigerian wants to take holiday to Plateau State, and you know, a lot of income, you know, on tourism for Nigeria. That is gone. And Kaduna State ethnic religious issue has been on for a long time. Southern Kaduna, majority of them are Christians, and Northern Kaduna is Muslims. You know, and for a long time, there have been clashes between the Muslims and the Christians, and nothing has been done. But what I see happening these days is the political differences. I see a situation of political competition and manipulation of ethnic and religious sentiments, you know, in this area. Okay, I watched a video. Was it yesterday, when the leaders, the governor and the leader of Katsina State, had a meeting with the bandits. It's laughable anyway. The government having a meeting with the bandits, and these bandits came in their numbers, holding their rifles, holding their AK-47, and coming for the meeting and branding it. All right. In some other nation, that is a good way of arresting, you know, these bandits. Okay. They had the field of the day. Their leaders were inside. The followers were outside, you know, branding the AK-47, shooting sporadically. Then I asked myself these questions. Where are these weapons gotten from? Who funds it? You know, AK-47 weapons are not cheap. AK-47, there are so many types of them, but the list of them will be about $1,500, okay, which is around maybe 250,000 naira. The ammunition there is the bullet. A rifle bullet costs about averagely $15. You know, that's about 30-something thousand. You know, and when these bandits comes around, they announce their presence by shooting sporadically in the air, wasting 30,000, you know, 50,000 bullets. For you to know the abundance of ammunition that they have. Who is backrolling all this? Who is processing the papers of getting these weapons? Because weapons and ammunition are not sold in the open market. There are procedures of getting them. Is it this, you know, illiterate boys that we see carrying weapons? Are they the one processing the papers to get the weapons? Where are the weapons coming from? We don't manufacture weapons in Nigeria. Where are they coming from? When they come around, you see them in so many motorcycles and jeep. Where do they get this from? Their food, their water, their medicines, you know, and other essentials. Who is bringing them?
Sorry to quote you, sir. So you mentioned the fact that where are these firearms coming from?
Yeah.
So why is it so difficult? Abi, let me ask this question this way. Why do you think it's impossible for the security personnel to actually, you know, pinpoint where this firearm is coming from? Because I believe that if we can actually pinpoint that, is a good lead.
Yeah.
I mean, to, you know, tackling this issue.
I wouldn't say it is impossible, you know, to find out. So
what's the problem?
Where those weapons are coming from. There are some individuals. You see, when you're talking of terrorists, okay, or kidnappers, okay, or bandits, the guys that you see on the streets, the guys that go on the streets and kidnap people and come around and you know, kill people, they are not the real terrorists. They are just the errand boys of the real terrorists. All right, terrorism and kidnapping has become a multi-billion-dollar venture in Nigeria. It's a big business. It's a big business, and we have the godfathers, even in the government. We have them in the military, you have them in the police, you have them among the highlights and the politicians. And you know, you cannot prevent what you permit. All right? I am For instance, I am financing something and I am put in position to stop that thing. And what I'm financing is giving me gain. Do you think I can stop it? I cannot stop it. A lot of people talk about the inefficiency of our military. I say no. Our military, they are effective. But who is giving orders? Who is giving counter orders? Recently, you see junior officers, all right, it's an aberration in the military anyway. Junior officers coming and expressing their dissatisfaction about their superior officers. Junior officers calling out the chief of defense staff, that you are the one that is not helping us to fight, because when we get to the battle line, we have counter orders, and our men are being killed, in their numbers on a daily basis. Some people are playing politics with human lives in Nigeria, and that is the main root. Apart from some other minor things, okay? People talk about the ethnicity differences in Benue State, in Plateau State, that the TVs are dominating the dome. This has been for a long time. It was there when I lived there. It was there in the 70s. But we're not seeing killings like this. Almost everybody in Benue State now, all right, have turned to gone to the IDP. Very soon, if care is not taken, we are going to have shortage of food items in this nation. Maybe we're talking about goods being expensive now. Wait for some years, because farmers in Benue State produce 80% of the yams and some other grains that we use in Nigeria. Okay, most of those farmers have been driven away from their farms. What happens to their products? What happens to Nigeria? What happens to us? The government of Nigeria must open their eyes and see ahead of time. Okay, it's that we are sitting on a time bomb. Yes, people are being killed, all right, but a lot of people are going to be killed due to hunger.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You
Yes.
mentioned that the military is very effective.
Yes.
But then I watched the video online, I think yesterday, and
Yes.
a military guy said that one of the issues that they are combating currently in the military space is the fact that sometimes when these bandits, when they are arrested, he actually said some of them surrender themselves intentionally because they follow one of the others in the 48 laws of power. When they are overpowered, they surrender themselves intentionally just to be arrested. And then you said some of them are enrolled in the military. Repentant bandits. And then he said these people come in, they try to know all of the secrets that they need to actually help their people outside. What do you make of this? Does it pose any risk? Enrolling repentant bandits into the military.
I think it was President Buhari that started that if we have repentant terrorists, then we should accept them and help them, to go back into the society. When that happens, I remember I was on so many TV stations and I faulted that.
Okay.
I faulted that. If you take clue from an advanced nation, all right, when an enemy is arrested, having surrendered, all right, there are rules of engagement. If he surrenders, then you have to capture him alive. If he surrenders, okay, what you do with that, repentant or surrendered enemy is to de-radicalize him. All right, to get information about the tactics and the whereabouts of others that are there. We are not doing that in Nigeria. What we see was federal government using the tax, payers hard-earned money, to finance the so-called repentant terrorists. They send some abroad to go and study. These are Boko Haram fighters. Boko Haram simply means Western education. Boko is an Haram. Boko Haram. Okay. They are fighting against Western education, and when they say they repent, Nigeria is using its money to send them abroad for Western education. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense.
All right, I'll
Once a terrorist is always a terrorist, and the rule of engagement for a terrorist is, nullify them. That's what should happen. That's what we are not doing in Nigeria, because they have, godfathers everywhere.
I'll come back to you. Thank you so much. Let me turn to Annalise Oluwashu. I think I've seen some clips online, and then actually a core member, gave an interview, and she said she served in Benue State around 2009, 2010, and then things were intense back then, not to talk of now, 2025. So I want to ask you, what do you think, the state government is doing, wrongly? What can they do right? I mean, to actually, tackle this issue, because 2009 to 2025, I mean, it's a lot. What do you think they are not doing right? What can they do right to actually tackle this issue? And of course, you can extend it to the the federal government as well.
Thank you very much. Now, when you take a look at this issue on ground, my question is, why has the state government not actually tried to find out what is actually the root of the problem? Now, even finding out the root of the problem, like Governor Alia was saying 2 days or 3 days ago, that the people who attacked came in from Cameroon, came in from one side of the border to the other side, trying to claim their lands. Now, you knew this all this while. What steps have you taken to tackle that? Nothing was done until people came out in trunks to talk about it, to shout about it. Not until the presidency needs to talk about it. Is it that you are just sitting back and playing governor, playing politics, while your people are being killed? We already know these things have been happening over time. What are we going to do to stem it in the bud? Things are not being done right. The governor is sitting back on his hands. Now, imagine the presidency is coming. The president is coming to Benue State, and you expect your people that are being killed to come out en masse to welcome him. Welcome him for what? Killings have been going on. Why can't the military? We have stationed theaters in everywhere. Why can't you station a theater in Benue? The presence of the military will at least put a stop to a minimum point to those killings. The security apparatus in Benue, do we actually have one that is strong enough to tackle these people? These people will come in overnight, kill, and do the rampage, and go. And none of them have been, not even one, have been captured. Or not even one have been shot, taken to whatever. Question them. What is the essence of the killings? We don't know. The governor can actually call embassy, and the government can say, this is the essence. This is the reason for the killing. They can't even say. Governor Alia was saying, now, they came in, ravaged an area, chased them away, killed people over there. The next time they checked, they have occupied those places. Who are those occupying those places?
Okay, let me link this to another question. Because I saw an headline about a few days ago that talks about the fact that, these bandits, they get information from even people, within the state, within the communities. Why do you think it's impossible for, the military, the security, personnel to actually, gather? Because it's not just about, putting men, in strategic places. They need information. They need to work on those information to actually, tackle these people. Why is it impossible? Why is it hard, for the security, personnel to be at par with these people in terms of, gathering information? They can work with the local vigilante, work with, the community leaders, the traditional rulers, and then just try to, source for information that can help, in their activities. Because you see, all of these, the successes that, these bandits have been experiencing for a while now is an indictment, on the works, on the activities of the security people.
Now, number one, I'll still go back to the issue of, let's go back to the issue of community policing.
Okay.
If we have a robust security community policing in that area, some of these things won't happen. Like we do have here in the Southwest.
Okay.
It won't happen to that extent. Now, bandits liaising with people to get information means there is something wrong. There are lapses. Let's go back to the issue of, let me pinpoint this. When China was building the Great China Wall, they were busy building the wall to keep out insurgency. Okay. Not building the capacity of the people, the mindset. It is these same people that will open the gates for intruders, the Mongolians, to come in through the gates. When you build security, what is the mindset of the people that you are actually building to hold the security? That means there's something wrong in that area that we are not looking at. It might be on the, it might be on the idea on the issue of ethnicity.
Okay.
Between them.
What about political? Do you think
might
it's
even
political?
be. There are so many notions that can bring that about. That people can be leaking information to bandits to come in to acquire. Even it might be land grabbing.
Okay. Okay.
It can even be land grabbing. Okay. Oh, when you attack this area, chase them out. Okay. We own that area. We just like ones that happened in Osun State, the Lobo area, land grabbing. Most of these issues that come in with community clashes actually has to do with land. The issue of land. Why can't the governor or the government now separate the issue of land? Come in, wade in what is actually happening. Because migration from time will lead to people moving from one side to the area, and we tend to claim what is not ours.
All right, thank you. Let me turn to Dr. Okonla now, because I think some persons have come out to say that it's looking like the government is not coming to help them anytime soon. And some popular politicians are saying that, people might actually, turn to, defending themselves. What do you make of that statement? Don't you think it will result to more casualties? Because, I mean, if the military cannot even overpower these people, talk of people that are not experienced in any way.
Thank you very much. One of the main responsibility of a responsible government in any place is ability to secure the lives and properties of the people. If as a government you cannot secure the life of your people and their properties, then you have failed as a government. In Nigeria, the government is failing. We should understand that the present government is failing. When President Tinubu came in his inaugural speech, we praised him because we felt that, eventually we have a Messiah who is going to help us to tackle and, rid of, banditry and terrorism in Nigeria. Okay. In his inaugural speech, one of his key messages is that I am going to fight terrorism headlong. And within a short time, terrorism is going to be a thing of history in Nigeria, and we praise him for that. And he backed it up, all right? In fairness to him, he removed the serving chiefs then. He removed all of them and he put in fresh blood, put them there. And within a short time, I think 6 months, 8 months, we breathed peace in this nation. All right? And all of a sudden, it started again. Now, I realized that there has been nepotism in operation in Nigeria. And I cite an example. Some months ago, during the Uromi killings, all right, I was on TV stations and, questions like, why is it that because some people are killed and because they are from the north, despite the fact that they were carrying guns from one state to another, you say you are hunters, you are carrying weapons, you are carrying AK-47, and the way they are accustomed, the way they reacted, the vigilante killed them. And within a short time, you see the governors and everybody running up and down. The governor of the state running to Kano to go and beg, running to Abuja to go and beg the deputy president. The president is giving order. The Kano governor is giving order. Don't try those people in your state. Bring them to... And so many things. Everywhere was upside down. And I was asked that question. What is happening? I said, no. Don't see it as because they belong to certain places. Okay. Let's assume that for the first time, our government in this nation have come to appreciate the value of human life, because that is how it's supposed to be. Before you can conclude that there's nepotism, let's wait. God forbid, if anything like that happens again, let's watch the body language and the actions of the government. Shortly after that, the Plateau issue occurred, nothing. The Kaduna issue occurred, nothing. And now the Benue issue, nothing. Nobody is apprehended, nobody is tried, nobody is arrested. All right, there is nepotism in this nation. That is just the plain, language. We have people in power that are using their power to defend their own and to oppress those that are not their own. And you cannot fight insecurity, when there is nepotism.
So what's the fate of, the common, I want to ask you now, what's the fate of the masses in situations like these? Because I don't know, would you agree with the fact that people should look out for ways by which they can protect themselves in situations like this?
At the end of the day, that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. If the government is not going to step up and take issues, hold it by the reins, the people will.
How can they protect themselves? Apart from the protests, people came out en masse to protest. Apart from
protesting, making protests, having protests.
So what other ways can they?
At the end of the day, people will become their own vigilantes. And they'll go out for justice. And when they do that, it's going to be an anarchy. But we won't call it an anarchy because they have tried to protect their own lives. Now, the government has not been doing anything. Nothing being proactive has been done. You cannot be having killings in Benue State all this while, and the governor is sitting back in the State House, not doing anything. Where is the military?
Okay.
Where are they? What is the purpose of the military?
Okay.
To protect from domestic and external forces. Threats.
Thank you.
Now, what has been done?
Thank you. Let me turn to him because I want to ask you this question before we go on. How can technology like, drone surveillance systems, geomapping help us? Because I believe that there is a difference between, putting out security measures and safety measures. Safety measures mean that we are being proactive. Security measures means that, okay, we are responding to threat. How can we balance it? How can we be more proactive?
Thank you very much. In military, you respond to the order of the most superior officer. Okay. Whatever he says is what you're going to do. If you think you should go to the right, that going to the right is safe, if the commanding officer is saying go to the left, you have no alternative than to go to the left. Okay? You are talking of weapons. Do you know how much Nigeria spent during the era of Buhari to procure, state-of-the-art 21st century weapons? Okay. Tucano jets, fighting jets, and so many others. Drones coming to this nation, in their numbers. And we felt that, this is going to help us, like it's helping some advanced nation. But what are we seeing? No, it's not helping, because it's one thing to have it, it's another thing to be able to, use it effectively. We have people that are trained. General Buhari sent, I think, about 500 or so of our soldiers to Israel, to go and learn how to use those weapons, 21st century weapons. And they were trained and they came back. But what are we seeing? We are not seeing anything because they are not put in proper use. Because, the commanding officer or whoever is in charge, is not giving the right order. I said, listen, the junior officers are coming out in the military, calling out the chief of defense staffs. Didn't you hear what the CTS said yesterday? That, in communities like Plateau State, like Benue State, the people should, organize vigilante to defend themselves. When he said that, I was like, wow, to defend themselves. So you agree. And it tells us that, like he said the military is overwhelmed. He didn't say they are weak, but it's overwhelmed. And we have been clamoring for state policing a long time. If you ask the community members to organize themselves, all right, as vigilante group, and they want to confront, the terrorists, maybe Fulani, others, whatever they are, and they are coming with weapons, AK-47, is it with stick that those vigilantes are going to defend themselves? They too, they are going to get weapons. All right? Okay. And before you know it, like he rightly said, we are moving to a state of anarchy. And sincerely, there is nothing any sensitive leader will do when his people are being killed than to ask them to defend themselves. Fundamental human right. If somebody wants to kill you, the law permits you, all right, to kill him first.
Self-defense.
Self-defense. You are defending yourself, okay? But when that is done, this same government, like we saw in the Urumi killing, all right, will be calling for the head of the people that defend themselves. The government is not defending them. The governor is not defending them. They are Obas and their leaders, because the terrorists, the Fulani, that's one of the things they said at the meeting, was that any community that the Fulanis, that they are for more than 7 days, they paid their Obas. They said, go and ask their chiefs and the Obas. We pay them.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. I'm so sorry for quoting you.
Yeah.
We need to go, but I want us to finalize. To you, Annalise Oluwole, can you actually, advise, the people now? Because I don't even think the government will allow, people defending themselves, just like you said, it can lead to anarchy. What would be your advice, to the general public?
Well, it has turned to be a state of, you have to be your own keeper.
Okay.
Not even your brother's keeper. Be your own keeper first.
You have to safeguard your life first.
Before you can keep your brother's life.
Okay.
Now, so when in a state like this now, in an issue like this, the people need to come together. Identify yourselves that are being hurt.
Okay.
Come together. Try and find a way to protect yourselves. That's the way it's going to be. Because the government is not doing anything sooner than we think it will be. It's not going to be sooner. So the people should look out. They know where these things are coming from. They have the knowledge too. This is the route they are coming in from. This is the area they are coming in from. Let us put our eyes out for people we don't know among ourselves. If you see a strange face,
I have a nose for news.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me turn to the doctor now. What short-term and long-term strategies can you recommend in situations like this? You have years of experience, with expertise. Can you recommend, some short-term,
long-term, and short-term recommendation? You see, there's a lot of hunger in the nation, and poverty. The government should do something about the socio-economic status of people.
Okay.
Our youths have been, lured into terrorism because of poverty, and because most of them are jobless. They don't have money. For the first time, I saw on the TV at that meeting, one of the fighters who was speaking good English was actually a graduate. I was shocked, because I always had the feelings that most of them are illiterate, And what the terrorists are doing is they are luring them. Imagine a youth that has no job. Something is happening in Nigeria that we need to be careful about. It's going to be more than what we're happening. The Lakurawa terrorist group, new terrorist group, is invading the northwest Nigeria. And what's their tactics? Any youth of Nigeria that wants to join them, they sign them on with 1 million naira. 1 million naira, and they put them on a monthly salary. Massive recruitment is going on, and it will take a lot of discipline and self-discipline, before a man who has no job can resist that temptation.
Thank you so much. Actually, I would have loved this conversation to continue, but time is not on our side. I would love to appreciate Dr. Okunla for being a part of this program, and also Annalise Oluwole for being a part of this program. All right, the insight shared by our security experts illuminate the complexities of the situation and highlights the need for innovative strategies that not only focus on containment, but also prioritize prevention. Addressing the violence requires a holistic approach that not only engages local communities and strengthens law enforcement, but also promote inclusive development policies. Thank you so much for being a part of this program this morning. Daybreak Live still continues. We are moving on to the sport desk now. Bolu is waiting for you. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakwan. I'm saying good morning and thank you for joining.
Morning to you. Many thanks for joining us on Daybreak Sport this beautiful Wednesday morning. It's the midweek edition of the show. I'm excited to be here this morning as we kickstart from the Nigerian Premier Football League, where Rivers United Football Club of Port Harcourt has officially begun preparation for the new season. Under the guidance of their head coach, Finidi George, the team held its first full training session on Monday at the Adoke Amaesimaka Stadium's main bowl, with about 25 players in attendance. The technical crew and support staff warmly welcomed the players back and, of course, went on to charge them to mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Recall that Rivers United finished second in the recent concluded NPFL season and secured their spot in the prestigious CAF Champions League. Well, the first phase of their training, of course, has commenced, involving both players and officials. Well, don't forget that Rivers United and Remo Stars, who finished champions, will be representing Nigeria in the CAF Champions League. Well, in the same vein, let's cross to the CAF Confederations Cup, where Abia Warriors, their players have started preparations and, of course, started reporting back to camp as preparations get underway for their debut in the continental competition. Well, the Umaya-based club secured a place in the CAF Confederations Cup following their third place finish in the recently concluded 2024-2025 NPFL season. And, of course, they are waiting for the second team that will join them in that competition, and that's the winner of the President Federations Cup. Well, to make sure that they are adequately prepared for the continental engagement that kicks off later this year, but players and officials will commence the first phase of their training this week. Let me inform you that CAF is yet to release the preliminary draw, and Abia Warriors' opponent is still unknown at the moment. But it's important that the first phase of training starts immediately so that the boys will be in full shape. From Abia State, let's cross to Akwa Ibom this morning, where Akwa Ibom State Commissioner for Sport Development, Elder Paul Bassey, has announced the immediate dissolution of the management of all the 4 teams funded by the state government, talking about their football clubs, of course, following the conclusion of the 2024-2025 NPFL and NNL season. The 4 football clubs owned and funded by Akwa Ibom State government are Akwa United Football Club, Dakada Football Club, Ibom Angels Football Club, and Ibom Youth Football Club. Elder Paul Bassey, the Commissioner for Sports in the state, announced the dissolution of the management teams during a meeting held with representatives of the 4 clubs in Uyo yesterday, and directed that the chairmen and secretaries of the 4 concerned clubs should submit their handover notes to the ministry in 2 weeks' time. Elder Paul Bassey informed them that the move to dissolve the management teams of the clubs is part of a broader effort to reposition sport in the state for greater success, in line with the vision of the governor of the state. Well, let's move away from Akwa Ibom State this morning and cross over to the President Federation Cup. The final is set to take place next week, and the team you see on your screen right there, Kwara United, are preparing really hard. The Emir of Ilori, Dr. Ibrahim Sulugambari, CFR, has charged Kwara United players to remain focused and determined ahead of their President Federation Cup final match against Abakaliki Football Club. Sulugambari gave the charge during the team's courtesy visit to the palace in Ilorin. He assured the club of his full support in their quest for glory. Kwara United will battle Abakaliki Football Club at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikon, in Lagos on Saturday, the 29th day in the month of June 2025. Both teams will be making their first appearance in the final of the competition. The winner will represent Nigeria in the CAF Confederations Cup next season. Will it be Abakaliki FC? Will it be Kwara United? Only time will tell. Don't forget that Abakaliki FC are playing in the lower division of the Nigerian Premier Football League. Let's move away from men football this morning. Let's talk about the female football. The Nigeria Women Football League, where FC Robo Queens have announced a resumption date ahead of the 2025-2026 Nigeria Women Football League season. The Lagos-based club have set Monday, the 30th day of the month of June 2025, as a resumption date for the new season. FC Robo Queens made the announcement in a statement signed by the club's head coach yesterday. That's Emmanuel Ohassan. Of course, FC Robo Queens missed out on a place in the season-ending Super 6 playoffs last season. It wasn't a good season for them, but then they are already preparing for the new season. Wish them all the best as they look to compete with the big girls in the coming season. Well, this time around, let's talk about the national team, still with female football, and let's talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria as they prepare for the WAFCON coming up next month. The Super Falcons provisional list for the 2024 WAFCON tournament in Morocco will be released in the coming days after their head coach, Justin Madugu, submitted his list to the Nigeria Football Federation yesterday. Nigeria will be seeking a 10th continental title at the tournament, which will be played from the 5th to the 26th of July. Madugu's side are in Group B, where they will face Tunisia, Algeria, and Botswana. The Super Falcons of Nigeria will begin their quest for the title they last won in 2018 on the 6th of July with an opening Group B match against Tunisia at the Zoli Stadium in Casablanca. And less than a month before the start of the tournament, the Super Falcons of Nigeria will be heading to Portugal for the final phase of preparations, where they will also face their Portuguese counterpart in a friendly game next Monday. Madugu is leading the team to the first major tournament after taking over from American coach Randy Waldrum. Now, meanwhile, the Nigerian Football Federation yesterday says it has set in motion a media campaign for the Super Falcons of Nigeria ahead of the WAFCON, nicknamed Mission X, to mobilize and galvanize Nigeria football fans home and abroad to support the Super Falcons' quest for a 10th WAFCON title in Morocco next month. Nigeria have actually won 9 of 12 championships that have been contested since CAF launched the event back in 1998 to become Africa's most decorated women's national team. Of course, it is a big deal, and it's important that we mobilize everyone and ensure that our girls win the competition for a 10th time. No doubt about it, the biggest and the best female football team on the continent of Africa. But what do we say when we get to the global stage? Away from that, let's jump to the world of football and move and talk about this young man right here, and that's Victor Osimhen, who has won the Turkish Super League goal of the season for the 2024-2025 season. Osimhen won the award for his superb bicycle kick against Antalyaspor. The spectacular strike came in stoppage time of his club Galatasaray's 3-0 win at the Rams Park. It was the Nigerian international's third goal for the Yellow and Reds. Well, the 26-year-old finished as top scorer in the league with 26 goals. Victor Osimhen joined Galatasaray on a season-long loan deal from Napoli last September. And as you can see on your screen, what a goal from Victor Osimhen in that particular game. What a beautiful bicycle kick. Moving straight to the Premier League this morning, where we understand that 380 Premier League fixtures for next season will be released at 9 a.m. Today. And that's all the fixtures for the coming season. Before we go quickly, results of matches played in the ongoing Club World Cup yesterday. And there you have all the results right there on your screen, with Fulham and Borussia Dortmund playing a goalless draw. And that's sports this beautiful Wednesday morning. Thanks for watching.
All right, thank you for staying with us. It is still Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, and this is Trend Watch. And of course, I still have with me this morning, Pat Aita.
Yes, good morning. Welcome to Trend Watch for today episode of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. Yes, we'll begin with this one from Aruli,
Yes.
official Aruli.
A very strong take.
Strong take there. I know something must have happened before it comes with this one to say, okay, oh, it's a blessing for a woman to carry a baby in her womb. Don't let wokeness drill you. Wuli Aruli speaks on surrogacy.
And exactly, to continue that story, also mentioned the fact that unless for medical reasons she can adopt options like surrogacy, IVF and all, you can't say my body, my decision. I don't feel like carrying a child, I don't want surrogacy. No, your body is God's temple. What do you make of that statement?
Well, I guess Aruli is actually talking about a lady as a Nigerian media personality. That's Ife Dayagoro. That's Ife Gang, who has come out to say that. She came out to say, okay, I don't want to carry baby in my womb, but just want surrogacy. And it's raised heated reaction. That's including one from this Wuli Agba, who is a comedian, saying that Aruli's reaction is just on Ife Dayo stands on the surrogacy topic, raise even more comments. And then we have more comments coming from different people, like it's her choice. If she wants to do it that way, let her do it that way. But if you are coming to say, okay, it's something that's it's a blessing, well, some people see it as a blessing, some see it as a stress. So that's why she wants to go through that path. That's part of doing surrogates. I mean, he wants to adopt the surrogacy of the thing. So Arole is just talking from the other angle of, okay,
that's how they did it.
That's how the whole thing happened.
Okay,
well,
I actually understand you, because I feel like the defense of a lot of women is the fact that my body, my choice, I decide what to do. And then, I mean, in recent times, I learned that some persons even undergo CS because they don't want to go through labor pains. So I feel like he's a man, and then I think I saw a comment online that said that he actually does not understand, I mean, some of these things that women go through. Maybe that's why he's saying this. But I feel like everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and then it depends on what you want to do as a person.
Well, we have comments here. Uncle Mide, _ Uncle Mide is a man. Let everyone just do what works for him or her. If you want to lay your children and watch over them till they hatch, it's fine too. Whatever they do that does not involve my family, friends, or close people does not concern me.
Exactly. I mean, that's a strong stand. And we also have another comment from Abenyola Timwa. Says, LOL, it's how men suddenly have strong opinions regarding female-centered decisions. You are just bitter about women having a choice, because people are now more vocal about it. Let everyone live their truths openly, as long as they are not hurting anyone. So it's a matter of choice. I mean, speaking of this matter.
So if you want to go that way, fine. If you want to go through the normal carrying your baby in your womb, it's okay.
Some people even adopt. They don't want to give birth at all. I mean, we've seen cases like that. All right, let's look at the second story. It says, this shows, I think this is coming from, Kendi Bankole. Exactly. She said, nothing against these young stars, but it's pathetic, more sad, as this shows consumer appetite. The people have a role to play. If media houses churn out mediocre news based on their timing and the people shun it, it will force them to do the right thing. But everywhere you see people engage such posts, even more when there are so many serious issues on ground at the time. Majority's minds and intelligence will break your heart. The media carries such huge responsibility, but people have a role to play as well.
Well, I think she's referring to that the Zatning incident that happened in Benue
State.
For her to people are not actually
talking about
it, and being a television host, and she feels like, oh, fine, it's the work of the media to sensitize, to enlighten people, to educate people,
to keep them abreast of the
Some people have decided to say that, oh, there's nothing new. I don't want to listen to radio. I don't want to listen to television, because everything, I don't want to watch television. Everything I gets from there is just sad.
Exactly.
So they want to, some people will say, I want to live long, so I'm not interested in
not
everything.
going to watch.
And the young ones coming to were like, anywhere money day I go enter. It's not about, they are just like, okay, government has failed us, and you want me to just sit down and think like Nigeria will work fine. Nigeria is not going to work fine. That's the mindset of younger ones. And you keep on asking questions. So you come in to say media are not sensitizing or creating or informing.
I think she tried to balance it. That
informing
is the
people
role of the
about
media.
informing people about what is happening around them. It's not going to fall for that, because we're trying our best as a media, and it depends on what you want to take. If you want to take it, fine. If you don't want to take it, good. I won't just come and tell you that you must watch, you must listen, but then it will be good for you to listen, to watch, and know what is happening in your environment.
I mean, she also talked about consumers' choice, because, I mean, a lot of persons, you are very spot on, they don't want to watch, I mean, all the stories that talks about, you know, people died, I mean, the government is not doing well for their mental health. So they would rather comment on, you know, celebrity gist online, this person and this person broke up, issues like that, because they don't want to
They just want to laugh. It's just the comic aspect of, what's it called, reporting that gets them going. Okay,
let's not also forget the fact that stories like that sell. I mean, more than, I mean, national issues, celebrity gist and the likes. Let's take a look at the comment.
Well, comment, your gadget guy _ says, so saddening actually. I literally had to search some specific channels to get the full information about the Benue killing. The media and blogs should do better to Jerry, because consumers can really control what they decide to put out there.
On the contrary, I think I was able to, you know, read through posts, pictures and videos online. I mean, that was how I was able to, you know, compile, I mean, some of the things that, you know, I spoke about in some interviews. So I don't really see this as an issue, because I feel like the media is actually trying, I mean, concerning that. So, but I don't know. It depends.
So the last comment here.
Okay. It's coming from Bin Greggy. It says, news reporting shouldn't prioritize engagement over truth. Media should deliver facts that inspire people to take a stand and spark meaningful conversations. After all, the media with significant influence as a powerful tool for shaping minds. So I think it varies, it's subjective. We have people, bloggers, that actually prioritize some of these national issues. And we have some that are actually after the views to make money.
That's it.
All right, so I think that's the issue about this whole thing. All right, thank you for being a part of the program this morning. Do not forget to join us same time tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. My name is Oluwayemi Adelako, and before I go, I want to say that let's speak up when we need to, let's take actions when we need to. A better society is possible when we are all ready. Thank you for joining, and bye.
All right, my name is Pat Aito saying do well to join us tomorrow. And of course, follow us across our social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And of course, you can watch and interact with us on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Daybreak Live. See you again tomorrow.